Dear students, welcome to this video subject session of SS and continuing the last session's topic. Let us discuss today's new topic which says what are the different branches of the legal system. Legal system, as we all know, that in our country is said to be the judiciary, and judiciary is basically divided into the three hierarchies. On the top it is the Supreme Court. At the middle level there is a high court in every state, and the bottom level consisting of the district or the sessions court. Now it starts with the above, means the case of the dowry death falls within what is considered a crime against society and is a violation of the criminal law. The case that we have discussed last time, in that case Sudha Goyal, who got married 20 at the age of 20 years and got died due to the harassment which has been done by her in-laws. Her husband and her mother-in-law basically were both the accusers in that case. Now it says that it was the case of the crime against the society and is a violation of the criminal law. And in addition to criminal law, the legal system also deals with the civil law cases. Now when we say that the case is there, whether a particular case can be registered in the police station, it can be bifurcated further into the civil cases and the criminal cases. First, let us understand what is a criminal case. A case in which, or what it includes, the life or any kind of the theft, robbery, or any kind of the dowry marriage case can be considered as a criminal case. Whether a civil case can be considered as a case of the property, as a case of the land, etc. Now these criminal laws, the legal system also deals with the civil law cases. You read in chapter 4 of how a new civil law was passed in 2006 to protect women against domestic violence. In previous one of the chapter we have also read that how in the society the woman has been protected against the domestic violence. Now a table has been given in which a basic difference between the two has been explained to us, what is known as the criminal law and what is the civil law. Now criminal law deals with the conduct or acts that the law defines as the offenses. Now the criminal law basically deals with the conduct, or we can say that it is an act which the law can define as the offenses. For example, theft, harassing a woman to bring more dowry, murder and etc. These are basically known as the criminal cases, whereas the civil law deals with any harm or injury to rights of the individuals. A civil law basically can deal with the harm, injury or right of the individuals, we can say. For example, disputes relating to the sale of land, as I said that whether a land case is included or whether purchase of the goods, rent matters, divorce cases, etc. can be known as the civil cases. The second point says it usually begins the lodging of an first information report FIR with the police who investigate the crime, after which a case is filed in the court. Whether the criminal law is concerned, it could first be registered to the nearest police station, and when at the time of the registration that case should be registered by the police officer over there, which first is known as the first information report, that is first investigation report also we can term. Its abbreviation is FIR. And a civil law, whether it is concerned to any kind of the case, a petition has to be filed before the relevant court by the affected party only. Now in the first point we have seen that civil law basically deals with the land, property and etc. And in that the law says that the case or the petition must be filed to the relevant court, and that we cannot file the FIR. It means that FIR should only be filed in case of the criminal law only. In a rent matter, either the landlord or a tenant can file a case. In the land matter or basically any property case it is there, the tenant who has suffered a loss or the landlord who has suffered any kind of the loss can file a case for that. Now criminal law says that if found guilty, the accused can be sent to jail and also fined. In case of the criminal law, whether the guilty is there, the accused person can be sent to the jail and it can also be fined. The civil law says that the court gives the specific relief asked for. In the civil law, whether any case is there, the court can give specific relief against any kind of the case. For instance, in a case between a landlord and a tenant, the court can order the flat to be vacated and pending rent to be paid. Now, civil law, when it deals with any kind of the property and a case is filed in the nearest court, whether we can say that the subordinate court, so the court at first instance, it orders to the landlord or to the tenant who is occupying the property of the landlord must be ordered that it should vacate the flat or it should vacate any kind of the house which is given on the rent, and the pending rent which is there should be paid on time. These are some of the basic differences between the two. Now let's discuss another topic which says that does everyone have access to the courts? So the answer says yes, of course, everyone is accessing the court in the nation. In principle, all citizens of India can access the courts in this country. The law says that all citizens, irrespective of any of the background, whether it may belongs to a richer class or the poorer class or the middle class, everyone can access the court. This implies that every citizen has a right to the justice through the courts, which basically says that every citizen in India who is staying in India has the right to access the court. As you read earlier, the courts play a very significant role in protecting our fundamental rights. As we have read in one of the previous chapter, that courts play a very important role in our fundamental rights. If any citizen believes that their rights are being violated, then they can approach the court for justice to be done. And if any citizen feels that their right is not protected in the nation, they can register to the nearest court by accessing their fundamental rights. And if any citizen believes that their rights are being violated, then they can approach the court for justice to be done. If any citizen believes that their rights are being violated or not followed, then they can approach the court for the justice also. While the courts are available for all, in reality, access to courts has always been difficult for a vast majority of the poor in India. Whereas we can discuss that the courts are available for all, in reality, access to courts have always been difficult. It's always been difficult for a vast number of the population. While the courts are available for all, in reality, access to courts have always been difficult. Poor people may afraid most of the times that they should not access to the courts because they are feared of the richer people that they can use their power or money power and they can violate them, they can harass them. Legal proceedings involve a lot of money and paperwork as well as take up a lot of the time. Now registering any case to the court, it may require a lot of money and lots of time, and nobody is having so much time. For a poor person who cannot read and whose family depends on the daily wage, the idea of going to court to get justice often seems remote. So poors believe that, and it's in fact they are right because they depend on the daily wage. They are not getting the salary on a monthly basis, and whatever the money they are getting, they are earning on a daily basis are enough for their family requirements and family expenditures. And when they will access to the court, they will not earn and it will require a lot of money and paperwork. So for this reason, we can say that the poor people, if they have been undergone with any kind of the case or any kind of the crime, they did not register to the court because they are afraid of the people, they are afraid they did not have enough money. In response to this, the Supreme Court in the earlier 1980s devised a mechanism of public interest litigation which is named as PIL to increase access to the justice. So when Supreme Court knows the fact that the poor people are not accessing the courts, so it made the system very easier. Any people, whether it should be the poor people or any lower class people, wants to seek the court for any kind of the redressal or any kind of the justice, they can file a PIL, which is known as the public interest litigation. It allowed any individual or organization to file a PIL in the High Court or the Supreme Court on behalf of those whose rights were being violated. Now let us understand what is PIL. PIL is basically an application of the case done to the court. Now a question arises here: a poor is not educated, he does not know how to write an application, so on behalf of him, whether any lawyer can file a PIL to the court, the legal process was greatly simplified, and even a letter or telegram addressed to the Supreme Court or the High Court could be treated as PIL. The procedure was made very simple. Any person who can write an application or any piece of paper on which the court case has been defined can be considered as the PIL. And in the early years, PIL was used to secure justice on large number of issues such as rescuing bonded laborers from inhuman work conditions. In the initial days of this, a PIL can be filed to the court for seeking justice when the laborers were not getting proper working conditions and securing the release of prisoners in Bihar who had been kept in jail even after the punishment term was complete. In Bihar state, when the laborers were kept under custody, even when their punishment tenure was finished, so the people have done the strikes and they were not getting proper justice. So initially Supreme Court got the number of the PILs. And did you know that the midday meal that children now receive in government and government aided is because of the PIL? Now see the photos on the right and read the text below to understand how this came about. We can see the photo on the right side of the screen, that how the PIL came about. The photo one says that in 2001, the drought in Rajasthan and Odisha meant that millions faced an acute shortage of the food. Now it's a picture given here where the buffaloes were struck in a arid region. It seems that there hasn't been rain for a so much long period of time. And owing to this condition, PIL came about. Second one is, meanwhile the government godowns were full of grain. Often this was being eaten by the rats. The government godown was full of the food grains, and even after lots of food is available in the nation, the citizens of the India were facing the acute shortage of the food. Third says that in a situation of hunger amidst plenty of organization calls the People's Union of Civil Libraries, and it says that everyone should have a right to access the food. So Supreme Court ordered that rather than wasting the food or eaten by the rats, the food should be given to the ration shops. And owing to this condition, the photo 4 says that it therefore directed the government to provide more employment, to provide food at cheaper prices to the government ration shops, and to provide the midday meals to children. It also appointed 2 food commissioners to report on the implementation of the government schemes. And owing to this condition only, in the nation, government decided to distribute the food to the ration shops, and this way we can say that the PIL has worked a lot for the Indian nation. So students, this is today's session for SS. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day to all.